There's one thing that completely shifted my life. And this one lesson actually took me from being, a Walmart worker. I suffered with, acne, anxiety. I had horrible stress at the time. And this one lesson took me from like literally self sabotage, suffering daily, to traveling the world. Still in my teenage years, I'm 20 now, but I started traveling the world as a teenager. And the only thing that helped me truly do that was to understand that I am not my thoughts. You are not your thoughts. And I don't mean to brag at all, but I've been to many different countries. I've been to Thailand and Korea, and I travel like, you know, twice a month at this point. And there was a point in my life where, unfortunately, I wasn't traveling at all. I was very scared. I was stuck in my hometown. And I didn't have that confidence to actually lean into the fear, take back control of my thoughts, and understand like how people really got out there and traveled. And I haven't even been flying. Like I had this calling to go flying and get out there and get on a plane. My family, we went on road trips when I grew up. So up until like 3 years ago, I haven't even flown on a plane before. So now I'm out here and I'm traveling and I'm living the life, and it means the world to me that, I get to do this because that's all I dreamed about. That's all I truly wanted to do was experience the world. And it comes down to controlling your thoughts. And how I like to explain this for people that don't really understand that concept, right? And I didn't understand it either, but like how to control your thoughts. And your thoughts don't control you. You control them. And I start off with, I call it the roommate analogy. And the roommate analogy is pretty simple. It starts with you understanding that you are a separate being from your thoughts. Say that you have a 2-bed, 2-bath apartment with your roommate, and you guys live in kind of separate quarters and spaces inside of one apartment, one block. And it's like running into your roommate and detaching from them, no matter what mood your roommate's in. Of course, I mean, me, myself, I used to live in an apartment with a roommate, and last year I did. She sometimes was in happy moods. Sometimes she was in, very sad moods and different moods, right? But we don't actually have to attach to our roommate and their feelings, right? We can live next to the roommate without feeling, what they feel. And it's kind of the same thing where you can close your door. You can shut your door if you're just not in the mood to handle the negativity that your roommate has that day. And you can walk out of the building as well. So having that understanding that you are separate, right? Your roommate is like the negative thoughts or the positive thoughts even inside your brain. And you're also inside your brain. And with that being said, the structure you're in, the box you live in, your apartment is your head. And you guys are both boxed in there, but understanding that you are separate. You're separate beings that can help you first understand how to take back control, take back your thoughts, and not be someone that associates and thinks so negatively, because that's what prevented me from traveling in the first place. I had that fear. I was working at Walmart at one point. I mean, if I go back here, I was working at Walmart. I had crippling anxiety. I never really traveled once besides on a road trip, family road trips on spring break once a year. And I was scared to get out of my comfort zone, scared to travel. Why? Because my thoughts completely controlled me. My thoughts were me. But once I took that step back and understood that they're like a roommate, we're in the same box, but they're separate from me and separate from who I am deep down, that helped me clear my mind. And that helped me, travel to so many places and have an abundance mindset, a mindset that helps me travel twice a month to different countries. I'm on a run here, but that first analogy helped me completely shift my reality. And for you to understand this concept to a higher level, a deeper level where you actually can apply it into your own life, you have to understand the power of having thoughts and where to put the thoughts and how to disassociate from thoughts in the first place. So there's more layers to this roommate analogy, and it's like, I'm going to draw a brain out here. It's like when thoughts come in to your brain, you have the option to toss them out of your brain. So if there's a thought out there, and me back then, I was wondering, what are people going to think about me? What is my hometown going to think about me? Traveling out there with friends that they don't know. I had anxiety around just leaving the space and place I grew up in, and I left, once a year to go on spring break to like Florida with my family. And I had the negative thoughts of anxiety that fooled me into thinking that it was so scary out there. And, taking risk, even with my business, taking risk was so scary, but really sometimes we have to lean into the fear. So we're gonna sometimes have negative thoughts and positive thoughts coming in, but it's up to you. It is purely up to you. If you want to believe them and attach to them, you have to detach from your thoughts to succeed. If you think that I thought the same way back when I worked at Walmart, same way I do now, you're wrong, because I had to completely shift my reality and shift my identity around my thoughts and understand I'm the invisible being behind my thoughts. And that's what helped me. And there's a difference between, mindsets. You could be in, a caged mindset. I call it caged mindset and an abundance mindset. But it's up to you on how you want to create your reality through controlling your thoughts. So a caged mindset is simple. You're telling yourself it's impossible. You're telling yourself you're not going to be able to leave your hometown. You're telling yourself it's too expensive, and all of these limited beliefs that you've cultivated over time, or your parents conditioned you to believe, or your environment conditioned you to believe as you're growing up. You're stuck in a caged mindset when you tell yourself you won't, when you can't, when you feel like you're not meant for it, right? When you feel like you're not meant for it, but deep down you know you are, like I did. And that's a caged mindset. You are caging yourself in there. You are self-sabotaging yourself. And I was at that place. Self-sabotage every day. And it ruined my skin. It gave me stress, anxiety, acne. I was surrounded by people I didn't even want to hang out with because I didn't even have the courage to tell myself that I deserve better. And it seeps into your mental health, your thoughts. If you continually think negative thoughts throughout the day and believe them and attach to them without throwing them away, you're going to manifest a reality that you don't want to live. You're going to manifest and attract things that you don't want to happen. You're going to attract, illness, mental illness, physical illness through the thoughts that you're thinking and the frequency you're on. The more that you actually think positively, or even attached to positive thoughts, think abundantly, right? Abundance. The higher your frequency is going to be. And when your frequency is higher, it changes your perception on reality. And you're all of a sudden going to find people, find places, and find clarity, and find opportunity to go out and travel and go out and crush it and do what you truly want in life. And that's a caged mindset, telling yourself that you won't, you can't, it's impossible, etc. But what's an abundance mindset? It's the opposite. It's taking every single negative thought in the negative thought pattern and literally shifting it and asking yourself, how can I turn this into an opposing thought? If you tell yourself it feels impossible, if you tell yourself everyone's going to hate you and isolate you after you choose a different path, you become a 1%er instead of in the 99%. We have to take a look at that thought and ask ourselves, what's the reverse of this thought? What's a thought that's opposing this thought? What's a more positive version of this thought? Instead of that, I could be like, you could think, what if this turns out better than I could possibly imagine? What if I just get respect from other people? What if I stop caring, what other people think? What if their thoughts actually don't, matter that much? And once you reverse your negative thoughts, you are rewiring your brain and you're training yourself. You are training yourself to think positively. So the 20K to 50K thoughts that everyone has a day. We'll just say 50,000 thoughts someone has per day. The average person thinks, negatively like 40K of them, for example. What if we switch that around? What if 40K were positive? They're positive. Where would you be in life? You have to start rewiring and challenging those negative thoughts and those negative beliefs. And that's where you find success. I had a mentor tell me this a bit ago. It completely opened my mind. He told me, question everything. I'm like, wow, question everything. What do you mean question everything? Question school, question my reality right now, question my job. What do you mean question everything? Question relationships? What question everything means, there's layers to that. Question everything, what it means is questioning yourself, questioning your thoughts, questioning your mind, your self-sabotage, questioning the fact that you're starting to believe that it's impossible. That's what questioning everything is. And that's how you start taking back control, is you think deeper and question things. Ask yourself why 7 times over a thought. See what happens. See where it takes yourself. The average person cannot think that deeply. And that's a cage mindset, is believing those negative thoughts. But I started tapping into an abundance mindset. What is an abundance mindset? It's the complete opposite. What if everything turns out better than I could possibly imagine? What if it is possible? Instead of telling yourself, what if it's not possible? It's impossible. What if it is possible? Open up that prompt in your brain on possible success. Because again, a thought is an illusion. It's separate from us. We can have the illusion and we can be delusional about negative thoughts clouding our judgment every single day. Or we could be delusional and have the illusion of positive thoughts clouding our mind every single day. Do you understand that we're on an equal playing field right here? Our thoughts are equal and we are separate from them, our roommate. So we can choose, we actually have the choice and we actually can control if our roommate in our head is in a positive mood that day or a negative mood that day. And there's a lot of power in that, because I once didn't understand that. I was once broke, living paycheck to paycheck at Walmart. And once I fully understood this, that's when my whole life changed. That's when I quit Walmart. I built my business. I started traveling. I started meeting people that helped me travel and open up my mind. And I started to travel the world and see reality for how it is. So it's up to you. Are you going to think negative thoughts? Are you going to think positive thoughts? Whatever it is, are you going to attach to your thoughts? Attaching to your thoughts is very, very dangerous. It's a dangerous game. It's an illusion. It is all an illusion. And you have to ask yourself, do I want to be delusional in a positive way or a negative way? Because it's all an illusion. That's it.